So if you're just signing on, we're just going to take a few minutes here to let everyone catch the notification that we're live. I'm going to be sharing this out on Facebook as well. And if you're catching the replay, just bear with me about 5 minutes. And if you want to fast forward until we get started, you can always do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hop on here and just share out to a couple of places. Hope everyone's having a great full moon tonight. Where am I trying to go? Okay. For some reason I can't find, oh, there it is. My Facebook changed and I couldn't find my other page. Of course, Mercury goes direct and then my Facebook looks different all of a sudden. So go figure that. Okay, there we go. This is what I was looking for. And let's see, go here. Okay. All right, I have shared where I need to share. Somebody said they'll catch me on the replay. I said, great. So yeah, so you can always catch these on the replay. I do try to keep them here on the Facebook page. And then I also put them on YouTube and I put them on my website. So if you don't have time to watch this now, no worries. You can always tune in later. Sorry, I'm just like rubbing some stuff on my hands here. I've been making bath bombs all day. Even though I wear gloves, my hands are just feeling a little dry right now. So I hope you're having a great full moon. Let me know how you're doing with this full moon. Let me know in the comments or in the chat how you're doing. If you're catching the replay, feel free to put things in the comments or chat. I do go back and check those and respond to them after the fact. And yeah, I'm curious to know if anybody here is a Capricorn moon or has Capricorn in their chart. Is anybody a Cancer? We're in the middle of Cancer season right now. And we've got a lot going on in the cosmos. So I'm going to give it just maybe one more minute here. I'm going to gather all of my materials so we can get our moon circle going. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. I'm going to grab a drink of water. Okay, so I'm just going to start by taking a nice deep breath here, and then we will go ahead and start by creating our elemental circle, calling in the guides and guardians, and then we will officially begin. So if you want to join me with that deep breath, feel free to find nice supportive posture, stacking your spine. When you're ready, sweep your arms overhead, deep inhale. Deep exhale, bringing your hands down to your heart. Let's do 2 more of those if you'd like to join me. And I want to welcome you here tonight to our full moon circle honoring this midsummer strawberry supermoon in Capricorn. So if this is your first time tuning into me, my name is Vina Lene Rachel. I am a moon priestess, an intuitive, a channeler of the divine, and I host these virtual moon circles every new moon and full moon for the most part. If I can be here, I am here, and I always put the replays up on YouTube and my website as well. So if this is your first time tuning into me, welcome. We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. I always talk about both the Western astrology and the Vedic astrology of the moon. I also do a tarot reading. We'll do that at the end tonight. And if you want to stick around, I am going to talk about my signature manifestation program that is open right now and is only going to be open for the next 2 weeks. And then that registration will close and probably not open up again until closer to the end of the year. So if you've been looking to get in on Conscious Creatress, feel free to stick around after the moon circle. I'm going to talk for just maybe 5 or 10 minutes about that as well. Amanda says, I'm a Capricorn and your earlier post spoke to me more than any other post has before. That's awesome. Amanda, I'm a Capricorn Moon. No wonder that we vibe. Yeah, so for those that don't know, I do write moon musings as well in addition to hosting these moon circles. So sometimes the things that I write are different than the things that I say. So feel free to check that out on the website under vinalene.com under moon musings if you want to read more about this moon. And I also share those things on Facebook too. And if you're not part of my newsletter, you can sign up on the homepage of my website. I send out a moon musings newsletter every new moon and full moon and other cosmic events sometimes as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on right now. So I'm glad that everything spoke to you, Amanda. So in addition to talking about just the current full moon, what a full moon is, what a super moon is, what the full moon in Capricorn means, what is Capricorn energy, we're also going to talk a little bit about the retrogrades that are currently happening. So we are in a Saturn retrograde and Jupiter just went retrograde. Mercury just went direct. Neptune goes retrograde tomorrow, and we just have a lot of energy going on with all of that. So we'll talk about that as well. But before we officially get started, I like to bring in all of the elements to really create a circle of nature, honoring this natural connection that we have as stardust beings here on planet Earth, connected to these influences from the other planets, influences by the moon. So I bring in the 5 elements, and I always start with Earth. So today we're going to be working with a couple of crystals. Now with the new moon in Gemini that we had a couple of weeks ago, I brought in the crystal citrine, and I'm still wearing my citrine mala because we are in that same lunar cycle. And I brought in some extra citrine tonight as well. So if you've never seen citrine, here it is. It's very sparkly. It's usually kind of a little white and yellow stone. I've got a couple here that you can see. There you go. So citrine is a pretty accessible stone, and it works with the solar plexus. It's a stone of abundance, and it also honors solar energy. So this moon is in the solstice portal. We just had summer solstice on the 20th, and so we are honoring that energy with this moon as well. In the Vedic side of things, we're also honoring a solar deity right now. So we want to bring in a lot of energy revolving around the sun. When we're in full moon energy, the sun is illuminating the moon, and we're seeing that from the earth. Now, I wanted to bring in a second stone as well. Speaking of the sun, I have sunstone. So here is my sunstone. It's kind of a peachy, marbly white color. And again, sunstone is a great one to use for abundance and for supporting your solar plexus. And it also helps us with our internal willpower and drive. Sunstone is a great one to work with during the solar summer solstice portal as well. Now, in addition to that, I also want to bring in the earth element of Palo Santo tonight. I always do some sort of smudging. Tonight, I'm going to be using Palo Santo because we're at kind of a shift. We're halfway through the year. We're moving forward from here, and we're coming out of this eclipse portal. And with that, we kind of need to let go of the past. I really like to use Palo Santo when I'm trying to release things ultimately from the past, like ultimate release. This isn't your typical full moon. This is like big full moon release. So with that, I want to use Palo Santo. So I'm going to combine that with the element of fire. And it's going to take just a minute here, but as I start to light this up, we're going to start to also see the element of wind or smoke. Now, the reason I like to use Palo Santo for ultimate release is because this is a tree that's been dead for nearly 7 years or more before it's harvested. We don't harvest live Palo Santo or when it's recently dead. we wait because there's an alchemy that takes over and starts to do something to the resin inside. So after the tree has set dead for 7+ years and there's this resin inside, it's really powerful, and you can kind of see that smoke starting to come out now. I think I'm gonna light that up just a little bit more. But this has a really cleansing effect, both microbially, it's a big word to say, cleanses the bacteria from the air, viruses from the air, but it also cleanses negative energy or any distractions. So I'm just going to kind of send that out to you as well. I'm going to cleanse the tech that I'm using right now to communicate to you with, cleansing the space that I'm in right now, cleansing myself as well so that I am a clear channel for all the messages that need to come through tonight. And we just want to have this nice sacred space that we're sharing. And even if you're here, virtually, what's great about the ether is that all of this stuff moves beyond time and space. So even if you're tuning into the replay, you're receiving the benefits of this Palo Santo. Even if you're not here in the same room as me, you are still receiving the benefits of this smoke as well, and the crystals and everything else that we're using right now. So I'm just going to let that continue to burn out. So it must burn out now. And I'm also going to bring in, I forgot to mention, I've also got the element of wind through a peacock feather tonight. So I've just got this peacock feather with me because there's a great influence of Saraswati tonight in Vedic astrology. So I've just got that here to recognize that. And if you were working with some sort of flower or other plant tonight, I highly suggest working with marigold. So this is just dried marigold. I'm going to sprinkle some of this on my altar tonight and let the full moon go down on that. But you could use this in any which way. I make soaps and bath bombs. You could put it in that. You could sprinkle some in your bath water tonight. If you have marigolds around you, you could just be around your marigolds outside. But marigold is a flower of good luck and prosperity. So when we bring this into our life and we use the energy of this plant, we are trusting in our abundance and our future fortunes. So elements of earth, citrine, sunstone, Palo Santo, elements of fire, elements of wind and smoke, the peacock feather, the smudging smoke, elements of water. I've got good old-fashioned water with me. I highly suggest you have water and stay hydrated with this full moon. You could also charge some moon water tonight. I'm going to be setting out mine right after this transmission. I also tend to work with essential oils because you're getting the potent effects of plant medicine in a super concentrated form. And it's also a water form, so you can bring in the water element. So tonight I suggest working with bergamot. Bergamot is an oil that again works with the solar plexus. It's the oil of confidence, and it really helps to increase your willpower and your drive to show up to yourself, your intuition, your intentions, your intuition, actually your gut down in your belly and your solar plexus, and just show up and honor your body temple every day as well. So bergamot is a really good one for self-love, self-care, and kind of like self-drive or motivation. And it smells so good. You could put this in your diffuser. You could dab some on your belly. I'm just going to breathe it in tonight. But I highly suggest working with bergamot if you're using essential oils in your practices right now. And I already shared the fifth element. It's the ether. It's this place that we're connecting to right now. It's a beautiful place where, time doesn't matter, space doesn't matter. We're all connected. Even the people that come into the future of this transmission, we're going to feel that energy now because the ether just moves beyond this present space. So I welcome you here as we connect in the ether. And with these 5 elements, our circle is sealed. I'm going to take one more breath to really seal in the energy. Feel free to join me. And before we continue on, I'm going to call in the guides and the guardians. First, calling in the guides and guardians of the East. Bringing in that energy of air and fresh starts and new beginnings. Bringing in the energy of the dawn of a new day. The dawn of a new age. This golden age of light that we're now living in. We thank you, guides and guardians of the East, for being here. And we also invite in the guides and the guardians of the South, this element of fire, the element of change and transformation, power to burn away what no longer serves. We thank you, guides and guardians of the South, for being here. And we invite in the guides and the guardians of the West, bringing in the element of water, of life. Water is life. And the moon affects our internal waters and our emotions, just like the tides. So we ask for stability through these changes and these shifts that happen to us. And we thank the guides and the guardians of the West for being here. And we also call in the guides and the guardians of the North, the element of ether, our ancestors, the element of earth as well. This place where the veil can be thin, where there's generational wisdom, where we find both our roots and our ability to grow. We thank the guides and the guardians of the North for being here, and we also invite in the guides and the guardians of the ultimate ether, any cosmic beings, planetary beings, angels, archangels, spirit animals, other entities, beings of light, anyone else or anything else that needs to be here now. We thank you, guides and guardians of the ether, for being here. And with that, our circle is officially sealed. If your eyes were closed, go ahead and blink your eyes open. And let's talk a little bit about the energy of the full moon. So the full moon right now is on one side of the earth. If I'm the earth, the sun's over here, the sun is beaming down on the moon, it's reflecting back on the earth, and we can see that. And that's how we see the full moon. Now, when the moon is closer to the earth than usual, it's called the super moon. And this is a super moon right now. This is actually the fourth and final super moon of 2021. And this is a big moon for big release, as I mentioned before, and also a big moon for manifestation. So typically we use new moons for setting intentions and working with manifestation. But because this full moon falls within the solstice portal, summer solstice just occurred last week, we are being called to work more with the sun, with expansion, with growth, and ultimately with our abundance. So full moons are a time of us releasing what blocks our growth. It's a time of releasing what doesn't bring us joy. Another thing about the sun is it symbolizes joy and positivity. So if we have things going on in our life that are blocking that, we usually use the full moon to let that go. And as we, navigate this full moon within the solstice portal halfway through 2021, we really need to reflect and ask ourselves, how do we want the rest of the year to play out? Do we want to continue to have things play out the way that they have, or do we want to move forward differently? Ultimately, are you living in your joy right now? Are you living in your spiritual expansion and growth? Are you living in a supportive world for you to show up to yourselves and go after your dreams? Because if those things aren't going on right now, this full moon is asking you to let it go. So full moons are a symbol of fire. We have that sun's fire energy shining down on the moon, and we can symbolically think of fire in the way that it is transformative. When we burn something away, it will never be the way it is before. And we can use our energetic fire, our energetic drive for change, to energetically burn away the things we're ready to release. Or if you want to have fun with it, you can write everything down on a piece of paper. Everything you're ready to release, or everything you're ready to let go of, or everything you want to burn away, write it down and actually burn it. Using safe fire practices, of course. But that's another way that you can release, to actually visualize that thing or those things no longer standing in your way. So full moons also usually coincide with different aspects of nature. And in Native American traditions, different full moons are named different things. And this is the strawberry moon. So right now in North America, strawberries are being harvested. They're kind of in full bloom, or not really full bloom, but whatever, full harvest right now, ready and ripe to eat and ripe for picking. And this is kind of symbolic of our life as well. So we're in the middle of summer. This is midsummer moon. This is midsummer time in the Celtic calendar, or connecting back to nature. And we've reached, that peak of the light, the longest amount of light that we will have in the day. And from here, we start to go back to darkness. So we're reminded with this full strawberry moon to really seize the sweetness of life. Like, life is here for us to just pick. This joyful life is here ripe for the picking, and we have to go seize it and enjoy it and take it in and be grateful for it along the way as well. So with this full moon, you are being asked to release what stands in your way of living the sweet life, la dolce vita. So you can feel free to think about that right now. And if you have anything you want to release, anything you want to share, feel free to put it in the chat. Feel free to put it in the comments. So let's talk a little bit about Capricorn energy. Every single moon is in a certain sign of the zodiac, and it's the opposite of whatever solar sign we're in right now, or solar season. So currently we're in the energy of Cancer. This is Cancer season, the sign of the crab. If there's any Cancers on this transmission or Cancer moons, feel free to chime in. And Cancer is really ruled by the moon. They're kind of labeled as Cancer moonchilds because they're always really influenced by the moon. Both my husband and my son are Cancer moons, and for the past couple of days, things have been a little crazy. And then I'm a Capricorn moon, so this is my moon a little bit. And so things have been a little wild with the alignment of things. So yeah, Cancer energy is a water sign. It's all about emotion. It's about emotional processing. But it's also about pleasure and worthiness. So our water element in our body is our sacral chakra. And our sacral chakra is where we find pleasure. So again, it's about seizing the sweet life of summer, really enjoying your life right now, enjoying your time here, and feeling worthy to do that as well. So Capricorn is on the opposite side of Cancer in the zodiac wheel, and that's where we're showing up right now with the full moon. Now on the new moon, the next new moon, this will be in Cancer, but for the full moon right now, we're in Capricorn energy. Well, what does that mean? Well, we definitely still have the Cancer influence because the solar energy, the sun is in Cancer, that's shining down on the moon. But then we also have this Capricorn influence that reminds us to ground in a little bit. Capricorn is an earth sign. And actually it's depicted sometimes as a mermaid, or it's labeled as the sea goat. So there's a little bit of a water and an earth mix there, but ultimately it's an earth sign. So it's kind of the opposite of water, and this is a time to ground in and get a little bit more practical about where we are. Capricorns are hard workers. They're organized. They really like structure. They like to kind of have things as black and white. So I wore this black and white striped shirt today because Capricorn is a very it's black or white energy. There's no in between. And they also don't like to willy-nilly things or have things lying around undone. So when we talk about release with this full moon is saying, hey, you need to wrap up all the stuff that's lying around that you need to take care of, because it's pulling you away from your joy. It's pulling you away from living la dolce vita, right? Cancer energy is all about mothering energy, nurturing energy. We might have been nurturing or mothering ourselves just a little too much, to the point that we've gotten a little lackadaisical or lazy. So this is the time to get a little stern with ourselves and say, okay, I need to get my crap together. I need to get organized. I need to wrap up these projects. I need to decide what's important right now and really start prioritizing where I want to put my energy. Capricorn is also all about kind of financial stability as well. There's a revolvement around the concept of family. So this could be like your actual family that you have right now, and making sure that your family is financially safe and supported. This could also be just about like society as a whole and making sure that we're financially supported there. But this full moon is also illuminating things possibly around financial stability and security. If this is something that isn't stable in your life or isn't something happening in your life right now, it's time to really look at the reasons of why. Full moons illuminate things. They shine a lot of light down. We can see the darkness outside. We can see outside at night pretty well when there's a bright full moon, especially a super moon. So it's illuminating our energetic shadows as well. And it's highlighting things that, are weaknesses within us, or things that limit our growth or limit our abundance. They're self-sabotaging behaviors. We start to see those illuminated right now as well. So if you have any of that around financial security and stability, it is time to release that. It is time to break that pattern, burn it away. Whatever that attachment is or whatever's causing that pattern, it's time to burn it away and move forward. Capricorn energy does have this mermaid feel to it, and mermaids are very mystical, very magical, and kind of a bit of a go with the flow influence. So right now, as you do move through kind of these hard things, remind yourself to do it with ease. Remind yourself to do it as if you are traversing the waters, sailing the seas with ease. Don't let this be a hurricane. Don't let this be a crazy tropical storm, right? Let this be a calm ocean day for you. So I talk about hard work or working energy with Capricorn. The other thing that's coming up with this full moon is it is time to do the hard work. And this is the mantra that I brought up for this Capricorn full moon is I will do the hard work. Now, yes, that means the hard work of like wrapping up the projects that have been lying around that you've been meaning to take care of and you haven't, right? Get rid of that stuff. It's hard because we don't want to do it because it's like I need to clean out my refrigerator and my freezer. Like, honestly, like that's just like a stupid task and I just don't want to do it. But because I'm not cleaning out my fridge and freezer, we're having this like issue with the ice and we need to get to it. We need to clean out the freezer in order to do it. So it's just something that I need to do. It's something that's standing in the way of our joy because we're tired of having to chip the ice out of the bottom of the freezer. So that's an example of doing the hard work that you don't really want to do. It could be something like, organizing your closets, cleaning out that junk drawer, cleaning out the garden shed, whatever it is. But it could also be spiritual work. And this is where I really feel it's coming to our attention, is that we have got to start doing the hard work on our self-healing, healing our trauma, healing our wounds. Because if we don't heal that stuff, if we don't take charge and take control, it's going to consume us moving forward. And it's definitely going to hinder our growth into this new golden age. So during this full moon, ask yourself, what is being illuminated in the shadows? What is coming up in your shadow work that you need to process and deal with, that you've been kind of shoving back into the closet or into the darkness? I don't want to think about it. That stuff's coming up right now because you need to release it. Now, because this full moon is in the solstice portal, if you don't release this stuff now, if you don't do this hard shadow work during this lunar portal, this stuff is going to stick around for a while, probably for the rest of 2021. And then you'll be back at the beginning of 2022 asking yourself, why am I dealing with the same issues? Why am I dealing with the same problems? Why am I faced with the same choices? Why am I finding myself at the same crossroads? It's because you didn't make that choice for your evolutionary growth. You decided to stay in the same spot. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe your psyche or your spirit knew that you needed to learn the lesson again in a different way. But if you find yourself, really ready to make change right now, then you've gotta do the work on yourself. I'm going to do a little plug right now. If you want to do a lot of shadow work on your manifestation energy, you want to work with your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, your root chakra. You want to work with the shadow work within that stuff. And if you are a sister, yes, I do. I don't want to say gender discrimination, but it's just something I work with the sisters, and I work with the womb, and I work with the lunar womb and the moon cycle and the menstrual cycle in my program. But Conscious Creatress is a great way for you to navigate shadow work very gently in that very mothering, nurturing Cancer way. It's why I opened it up for registration during this portal. If you're ready to do the hard work, that's going to be available for you. I'll talk about that more after, but anyway, it's just time to do the hard work, and it's time to face facts and say, hey, if I'm ready for growth, if I'm ready for change, I got to deal with my stuff. And Capricorn's all about dealing with its stuff. And they're kind of a realist energy. There's a no holds bar. It's like the glass isn't half empty or half full. It's just a glass, and it's just got water in it. And that's fact. So this is a good time to really face facts and face your shadows and do the work from your past and really heal any trauma or any wounds that need to come out and breathe. So one more note about Capricorn energy, when it comes to systems and structure, this can come around government. This might be a time when things around government corruption are illuminated. This might be things around government that need to change in order for us to progress as a society. So you might see things in the next couple of weeks really shifting with our government. And then also structure amongst family, just your personal family. This full moon is going to illuminate anything that's causing strain among your relationships and family. This is a moon of big release. So if you're needing to forgive someone in your family, and this means extended family, friends as well, family isn't just bloodline, but if you need to forgive people in your close circle, now is the time to do that. This is also a time to really focus on what brings out joy in your family unit as a whole. And if there's things standing in the way of that, it's time to make shifts and change there as well. And as I talk about family, I can hear that my little guy is home. So we're going to hope that he doesn't cry or scream. He's downstairs. I'm here in my home office tonight. Okay, so let's shift just a little bit now, and let's talk about the Vedic side of things. Let's talk about Vedic astrology. And I'm no expert in Vedic astrology by any means, but I do like to bring in this influence because when I went to India several years ago, I started to really learn about Vedic astrology, and I noticed how much it correlated with Western astrology, and I just find it interesting, to be honest. And also Veena is my spiritual name, and that was given to me in India. So I feel like when I embody this name that I kind of owe it to to Vedic astrology to give it a little bit of light over here in the Western world and share it as well. So in the Vedic side of things, this moon is in Moolah Nakshatra. And nakshatras are just lunar mansions or constellations in the sky. And Moolah Nakshatra is known as the root star or the foundational star. So again, we're coming back to big releases and ultimate new beginnings halfway through the year. Big karmic choices. The decisions that we make in this lunar portal, this solstice moon, they're really going to affect us 6 months plus moving forward. So this Moolah Nakshatra moon is asking us to go back and really look at how we're building our foundation right now. Is it a solid, strong foundation that supports your growth, or is it shaky? Is it uncertain? Is it unstable? It's time to really look at that. Moolah Nakshatra is represented by a bundle of roots, and it's found mysteriously really close to the black hole of our galaxy. So this is a place where there's a lot of both deconstruction and expansion, right? Because we still are studying black holes, and we know that things are sucked into a black hole, but we also know that things kind of implode and come out of a black hole again. So this is a symbol of us maybe having to unravel some things right now. We might have to replant our roots in order to grow in stronger, more fertile soil that's rich and full of joy and support for you. If it is a time of, kind of pulling yourself into the darkness, it's a time of allowing yourself to get sucked into the shadows, to do the shadow work, to walk amongst your shadow land so that you can return to the light with more gratitude and more wisdom and more understanding. Moolah Nakshatra, being where it is in the galaxy, also reminds us that there's always this ability to begin again. We're always expanding. We're always growing. Our energy is infinite. This is just one black hole in one galaxy in the universe, right? So we're reminded of this infinite energy that's always expanding. And so we have to trust in that expansion within ourselves right now with this full moon. Now, Moolah Nakshatra is ruled by a deity that's sometimes depicted as Saraswati, which is why I mentioned the peacock feather and brought that into our circle tonight. But it's also a solar deity known as Gayatri. Gayatri Janti actually comes into this full moon. It's the birthday of Gayatri. And this is a solar deity. This is also a hymn, the Gayatri mantra. It's like an impersonal embodiment of that hymn if they were a goddess or deity. But what we need to know is that this is a symbol of the return of the light, of illumination, of gaining new wisdom and new understanding. Sometimes when we shed light on things in a different way, we understand them differently as well, or we find closure, or we find more peace. So this Moolah Nakshatra has a very strong solar influence. We're in this solstice portal. We're being asked right now to see what is showing up under the light. And what wisdom can we find when all of that stuff is illuminated? What are the lessons there? How do we, not repeat the darkness? How can we find the gift in our experience or what we've been through and not repeat it, have the wisdom not repeat it again, but also find how we're a better person or a stronger person, or how we've narrowly grown out of the situation. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if that does. So that's the Vedic side of things, and you can see how similar this is to the Western side of things. The root influence also with family, this bundle of roots representing getting back to our roots, looking at generational karma, generational wisdom, maybe roots that need to be severed, roots that are now rotting. What roots do we need to cut off? And what roots do we need to water and support and fertilize so that we can grow? I don't know if you can hear him down there, but he's just loud right now. He's happy. It's just a loud energy. And it's a full moon, and he's a Cancer moon child. Okay, so that's the Vedic side of things. We've talked about the Western side of things. Let's talk about the current retrograde season very briefly. And then I'd like us to do a breath work and kind of like mantra exercise tonight, or just like a little exercise to boost our ego, our spiritual ego, not the ego in a bad way. But we'll do a little exercise tonight, and then I'll do the tarot reading. So I'm going to grab a drink of water just really quick to reset. And let's talk about retrograde season. So for the retrogrades that have been happening, it's been a little crazy. Mercury retrograde just ended on the 22nd. So Mercury is now direct, and Mercury goes retrograde about 3 to 4 times a year. It is our planet of communication and expression. It's also the trickster. So things could have been a little tricky over the past few weeks. Communication might have been confusing. There might have been information overload. It might have been hard for you to express yourself, either kind of in the way you show up or just verbally, or, you know, you might have gotten into some fights with some keyboard warriors on the internet. You know, maybe your tech wasn't working, especially phones and social media, that sort of thing. It's all related to Mercury retrograde, and we've kind of moved out of that now. But we have 2 other planets in Mercury are in retrograde, and we have another planet moving into retrograde tomorrow. So Saturn has been in retrograde since about the last week of May, and it's going to be in retrograde until October. Saturn is a planet of big karmic lessons. It's kind of like the principal, the high school principal planet. Kind of want to teach you your life lessons every once in a while, but life lessons that come around every, you know, like 7 years or so. When Saturn goes retrograde, we might have memories of big things that happen to us come up. For example, I would bring up my father's suicide. I mean, that's a big thing that came up in my life. Or I've actually been thinking a lot about, you know, me and my husband. We broke up about 10, 11 years ago, and we're split up for about 2 years. This is before we were married. But I've just been coming back to that too. And so some other things that have happened in my life. But the reason that these memories come up, or maybe just reminders of these big shifts that happened to us in the past, especially big like shakeups in our life, these are coming up right now for us to be reminded of the gift in the cosmic shakeup, or be reminded of the wisdom that came out of the experience. So I fully believe that I would not be here doing what I am doing today if I had not lost my father to suicide. And that's a really big shift in my perception of the whole experience. But that's something that's come out of me understanding my Saturn return, and understanding how sometimes big, crazy things that shift our life are really for our evolutionary good. And it took me several years to see that, but I see that now. So these are the things that are going to be coming up right now, and they might be really illuminated with this full moon in Capricorn, because you might need to be doing some shadow work right now around that stuff in the past. Accepting the big things that happen in your life, accepting the wisdom. But just know this is going to be happening until October 10th. So this isn't going to end anytime soon, but we're in this retrograde. And then Jupiter just went retrograde as well. So as Mercury went direct, Jupiter went retrograde. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion, luck, prosperity. And even though this planet is in retrograde, there's something interesting about it. It actually appears to get brighter and brighter and bigger and brighter and bigger and brighter the more retrograde it gets. So its energy is expanding as it goes retrograde. We are in an energy of expansion right now because we are in the season of summer. This is when we have our most potential to expand, because from a solar perspective, we have the most energy right now. So with this Jupiter retrograde, we have a lot of luck, and we have a lot of fortune on our side, and we have the potential for a lot of abundance. Now, it isn't just given to us, it happens to us with our mindset, right? So this full moon in Capricorn asking us to do the hard work, that also means eliminating our limiting money mindset. And I say money because that's just the way we seem to operate in this modern world right now, in this day on planet Earth. But this could just be your limiting abundance mindset as well. It is time to release stuff around that. Jupiter's going to be in retrograde for a while, but this full moon in Capricorn might be shedding light on places where you have been limiting your growth in money. Remember that Capricorn kind of deals with financial stability and security. So with Jupiter retrograde right now in this portal, you are being given an opportunity to learn from your mistakes, to forgive yourself with grace, and to move forward trusting that you are abundant and you don't have to be this way moving forward, that you are financially stable and it can happen. Now, Jupiter also reminds us to step into our growth, to move forward into our dreams, and to kind of go for it. It's the ruling planet of Sagittarius energy, and we actually just came out of the Sagittarius moon like this morning. So we're kind of still feeling the effects of that as well. And Sagittarius is a very expansive energy of like, go for it, do it, go after your dreams. You can do it no matter what. So that's an energy that's going to be highlighted right now with this retrograde and with this moon. The other planet going retrograde tomorrow is Neptune. And Neptune is an interesting one because it's kind of out there. It's it reminds us that there is another side to the veil. So we're not just earthly beings here on planet Earth. There are other cosmic planetary societies and communities out there. There are cosmic beings, there are angels, there are archangels, there are spirit guides. I had a dragon come up in a Reiki session yesterday for the first time. You know, there are mystical creatures. Our ancestors can communicate to us. You know, energy shows up in all forms and fashions. And Neptune is that planet of mysticism. It's kind of a planet of illusion a little bit. It's the planet of dreams, as in our dream state. So when Neptune goes retrograde, we are being reminded that there is more to life than what we see. There's more than just this experience on planet Earth, that we have so much support around us that we just can't see. We are surrounded by the angels. We are surrounded by our ancestors. We always have nature guiding us. We have cosmic communities reaching out to us and guiding us. The Pleiadians have been speaking to me for a couple of years now. It was crazy when it first happened. Actually, I didn't even know. I had a dream. So let's talk about dreams real quick. So I'll tell you about my experience just really quick. This is an example of really believing in something. And I'd like to know if Neptune was in retrograde during this time, because I don't remember when it was. But I had this dream a couple of years ago. And within this dream, all I remember is being told over and over and over again that the Pleiadians were trying to reach me and they had a very important message for me. I woke up after that dream having no idea what the Pleiadians were, never had heard of the word Pleiadians before, decided to look it up, realized that it is this it's a planetary cosmic body out in space. It's a set of stars, but it's also a planetary race, and they're affiliated with a certain race and culture here on planet Earth that is part of my race and culture. And I think that I am cosmically connected to the Pleiadians. But it took me having that dream, being reached in that dream, and then looking into it, and then believing that it was real, to be like, yeah, okay. And since then, the Pleiadians have reached out to me several times, and I've also had lots of Pleiadian transmissions come to me from other sources, and it's just been a really weird thing. Like, it comes up in conversation a lot now. So that's an example of like a Neptune retrograde experience. So you might have really important messages come to you in your dreams right now, especially with this full moon, because that's a time when things can be a little wild in our mind anyway. You might also just have other ways of being open to guidance. So whether that be you calling on your angels or calling on your ancestors or calling on your spirit guides, whatever it may be, this is a time to lean into kind of the signs and symbols of the other world. So it's a good time to pay attention to numerology, if you use numbers to help guide you, or really just any other signs, whatever that is for you. It's time to pay attention to all of that, because that stuff is going to help you or help guide you and help you to keep you on your path of evolutionary growth, abundance, and support. There's a lot going on right now. And then we have this full supermoon all mixed in with it. So I hope that kind of makes sense of the things that have been going on right now, maybe in your own life, or things to come in the near future, or with this full moon solstice portal. I've been a little tongue-tied tonight. Sorry, guys. I was born in a Mercury retrograde. I am an air sign. I'm a Libra. So I'm always really affected by Mercury, but not necessarily the retrograde itself. It's always when Mercury stations. So right when Mercury stations before it goes retrograde and right when Mercury stations as it goes direct, things are always a little bit weird for me for a couple of days. And I feel like that's like the energy I'm in right now. I've been a little tongue-tied. When I taught yoga yesterday, I was a little tongue-tied in my practice as well, but also like these really good things were like messages were coming through. So I just roll with it. I just go over the stutter and I keep going. But yeah, we have a lot going on right now. So, just be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with this full moon if it's bringing up a lot of emotions or memories or, shadow work even. If you, feel a little attacked right now from the outer world, it's a good sign to turn within because it's a time to pay more attention to the stuff on the other side, things that you can access in your meditations and in your dreams, rather than looking to the outer influence of the, modern day world to guide you. It's just not the time to do that right now. Okay, Moon Sisters, Moon Brothers, I think that's all I have. If you have any questions, if you want to know anything, please put it in the comments. Let me know. We are going to do a breathwork practice and an exercise after that. To coincide with this full moon energy. And then I'll talk about the tarot reading and then we'll wrap things up. So I just got to adjust my seat here. Feel free to move around if you've been sitting one way for a while. Let's go ahead and find supportive posture again. And we're going to place our hands, interlace them on our belly. So I've got my hands on my belly here. My shoulders are relaxed. I'm not hunched. I'm just relaxed. Go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't already. And you're going to let these hands be a guide for your breath. So you're going to inhale, feel your hands expand outward from your body or receive your belly. And then exhale, everything softens. Inhale, breathe into your belly. Exhale, soften. Breathe into your belly. Soften and just continue to breathe in this way. And I'm going to guide you through a meditation here, helping to enhance your solar plexus energy. As you breathe into your belly, imagine a ball of yellow light, just like the sun, and feel the warmth of this yellow light in your belly. And let it start to turn into an internal sun, representing the energy of your solar plexus. And every time you breathe in and expand your belly, you see this sunlight grow. You feel the rays expanding outward through your body, warming up your belly, maybe warming up other places. Keep breathing into your internal sun, growing and expanding your light. And as this light grows, let there also be a fire that grows, this solar fire burning so strong for you to show up for yourself every day, to show up and honor your body temple, to show up to your goals and your intentions, to show up to the habits that you want to have, the routines that support you. Show up to the foods that support you, the liquids that support you, the things that you consume and digest with your belly. Let them support you and bring you energy and nutrients for growth. As you breathe into your belly, let your gut energy expand, your second brain of intuition, your second nervous system of knowing what feels safe and what doesn't. Every time you breathe in and receive your belly by your hands, you feel these energies grow. Willpower, strength, drive, intuition, gut knowing, core stability, balance, equilibrium. Take a few more breaths here. As you breathe into this fire, let it fan your flames of desire. Let the fire of your solar plexus ignite your willpower to continue to show up every day, to do the hard work, to do the work, whatever it is. Maybe it's hard, but maybe it gets easier with time. The key is that you keep showing up to fan your flames. Take a few more breaths into your belly. And when you're ready, slowly release your hands from your belly. Blink your eyes open. Welcome back. So just a quick meditation to enhance your solar plexus energy. And the other thing that you can do right now to really help you show up with that drive and that willpower, that strong solar energy to really move forward, making true change with the rest of this year, is to do affirmations. And I'm just going to do a very simple one. It's just going to be, I am achieving my goals. I am achieving my goals. And so I just want you to say that. I just want you to say that right now out loud. I am achieving my goals. How do you feel when you say it? Do you see I stuttered? I feel a little weird. I'm not quite sure I feel confident. Do you feel confident when you just sit here and say, I'm achieving my goals? I guess. Something that you can do is a power pose when you do this. So I want you to think Superman, Superwoman, super person, hands on your hips, hands on your sides of your belly. I want you to stand tall or sit tall. I'm just sitting right now, but you could stand too. Now this time I want you to say it with a smile on your face, and in this stance, I am achieving my goals. Say it a little louder. I am achieving my goals. Dun, da, da, da. The magic of body language and energy. So it's a very simple exercise, and you might have other mantras. I have quite a few affirmations that I say on day-to-day basis. But whatever you want to work with, make sure that you're really getting into it. Like, get your body language into it. Like, say a power pose. I've been working a lot with mirror work with my son right now. Get yourself in the mirror. Do some mirror work. Do it with a smile on your face. Do it confidently. Engage your core. Stand strong. These energies trick your mind into thinking it is true. And the more your mind thinks it's true, the more you attract energy to make that come into your reality. So when we talk about doing the work with this Capricorn moon, this talks about doing the work to boost your own confidence, be your own cheerleader, boost your own ego a little bit. That's a little ego boosting exercise, but stop looking for it in the external. The external is never going to give it to you the way that you give it to yourself. So with this full moon in Capricorn, do the work on yourself to believe in yourself, to believe that you can grow, to believe that you can change, to believe that you can shift, to believe that you can set boundaries, to believe that you can cut ties and detach, to believe that you can get rid of those rotting roots and you can replant and you can grow up stronger and bigger and better. Believe in it with the power of what you can bring to yourself. Body language, words, facial expressions, energy, overall confidence. So we're going to move on to the tarot. We're coming up on about an hour now, so I want to do this tarot reading really quick. And then we'll officially end our moon circle. And then if you want to stick around for just a few minutes, I'm going to talk about Conscious Creatress if you're interested in joining that program. Before we get started with the tarot, I'm just going to take a deep breath here to reset. Just calling on the power and the energy of the cards now to bring forward any messages that we need to hear. May each of these cards have an individual meaning to us, an individual understanding that helps to guide us along our true path and way. So I pulled a past, present, and future card tonight, and I also pulled a spirit animal card to guide us throughout this rest of the year and throughout this solstice portal, and maybe just throughout this season of summer. So for the past card, I ended up pulling the Page of Wands. And you can see here, he's got a green cloak. He's surrounded by the light of the sun, this yellow solar energy. And he's got a blue tunic on. He's holding a wand. Wands are always a sign of magic or alchemy or change, transformation. And if we're thinking about this from the past, that's certainly what we have gone through. We've gone through a lot of change and transformation, and we're not the same on the other side. We've certainly alchemized a bit. Even maybe your mindset or the way that you've been living has also changed. So this is a time to maybe reflect on those changes that have happened in the past and ask yourself if they've been for your magical life full of joy and excitement and abundance or not. I do think that this Page of Wands is also asking us to look back at this recent Mercury retrograde, just because of this influence of the green cloak and the blue tunic. So blue is the throat chakra, green is the heart chakra. Then we had Mercury retrograde in Gemini, an air sign. So Page of Wands asks us to look a little bit at the details, to pay attention to the details. So maybe we're being asked right now to look back at Mercury retrograde these past 3 weeks or so and pay attention to the details of what happened during that time, to see if there's any, any remorse, like anything that we need to change out of that, or just to see if there's any lessons or wisdom out of that. The Page of Wands is also a symbol of youthfulness and creativity. We're being asked to look at our past, at any form of creative outlet that really supports us and supports our growth and supports our joy. If that's something that we've gotten away from, it's time to return to it now. There's storms and fireworks going on at the same time right now. Like, this is true full moon energy. The Page of Wands is also a representation of freedom and independence. So, I definitely think that's been a topic at hand over this past year and a half. We've had to look back at our freedoms and our independence and our freedom to make decisions for ourselves and for our body and for the collective as a whole, our freedom to continue where we are doing the same work and the same thing, or maybe making a shift and change. I'm still doing the same work, but I'm doing it differently. And I definitely know that the past year has given me a spark for change, a spark for my own alchemy, to start, kind of laser focusing my energy on certain things that I want to do. So, as we look at this Page of Wands cards, we're just reminded to look back at the past, to look at the details, to see maybe if there's any wisdom or anything that needs to make change. And, how do we want to express ourselves moving forward? Can we express ourselves in that youthful, childlike, imaginative innocence, not really caring what other people think? Can we fully express ourselves in that way? During this full moon portal, we're just being asked to kind of look at all of that stuff as it's illuminated. Now for the present, I have the Queen of Cups. And you can see she's holding a cup there. She's seated on a box. She's got a green dress. She's surrounded by red. And she reminds us that we need to embrace a very mothering, nurturing energy right now. We need to be gentle with ourselves. The Queen of Cups is a mothering ruler. She's very compassionate and empathetic. She treats all of her people like brothers and sisters. This is basically the Cancer card, like Cancer zodiac card right here. And we're right smack dab in the middle of Cancer season. So I'm not surprised we pull this for the present. But the Queen of Cups, she also really handles her emotions, and she's very feminine, and she's very gentle. And so with this full moon right now, we're being asked to, kind of look at the structure of family, full moon in Capricorn. We need to look at the way that we're treating others. Are we treating each other with compassion and empathy? Are we handling our emotions and not letting the emotions get the best of us and our perceptions of others? I know that I was I was triggered several times this past week, or just like had certain perceptions of people. And the more I stayed silent and held space and tried to get to see the light in those people, the more I had compassion and empathy and understanding, instead of like frustration and anger and misunderstanding. So I think that, we can take the lessons from the Queen of Cups, and remind ourselves to just be compassionate with everyone, and to see each other with a little bit of grace. And when we start to be triggered by one another, maybe we take a step back and we pause and we look at our emotions and kind of get to the root of that before we actually respond. The Queen of Cups also represents possible messages that can come through your dreams, and we're moving into Neptune retrograde tomorrow, a time when the dream space can be really potent. So you might find that doing dream work right now can be really powerful, whether that's lucid dreaming or asking to have answers in your dreams, or maybe you're doing inner child healing or childhood trauma healing in your dreams. You can also connect to your ancestors in your dreams. So this is a time to really work with the internal in the dream space versus the external, and kind of trust in the other side of things that we don't fully understand and can't see and can't really make logic of, just understanding and trusting in their existence to help us feel supported in our journey. Now for the future, I pulled the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups here. And 4 is a number of completion. You think 4 seasons, 4 trimesters in a pregnancy, if you count that trimester after baby is born, that adjusting period. This is an adjustment period. This is a time of change. The Four of Cups can pull up the concept of relationships. A lot of times this is a symbol of, do we need to keep the relationship around? Or do we need to cut ties? Do we need to shift the relationship and change the way it is? As I mentioned, the cups are a sign of emotion. So we might have emotional stuff coming up right now. Also, cups are the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra represents our relationships with people other than our close family. So anybody that we're relating to outside of that, there might be stuff illuminated right now with this full moon, or we might just again have that concept of Capricorn energy wanting structure around family. So if you are feeling the need to maybe reset your inner circle, or if you're looking to find a new circle or a new tribe, these are going to be things that you want to focus on throughout the rest of this lunar cycle, and probably through the rest of summer and the rest of this year. There's probably going to be a shift in the people that you hang out with, or the people that you do continue to have a relationship with. Those relationships are going to grow and evolve and change for the better as well. Now I pulled a spirit animal card for this season and for the rest of the year, since we're halfway through the year with summer solstice. We're at midsummer energy, and the animal spirit that came through is grasshopper. And this card says, take a leap of faith. And I think that's exactly what energy we're moving into with this Jupiter retrograde influencing this moon. So we're halfway through the year. It's time to make big changes. We're in the middle of summer. We're at the peak of our energy, the peak of our light. It's a really good time to just go for it in that way. And if this could be a card, I would call this the Sagittarius card, because it's like, go for it. You can do it. Take the leap of faith. Stop standing so still. Stop being stagnant. Like, trust in the air to lift you. you don't have to know what's going to happen. Just go for it. You don't have to have a plan. Yeah. And so with Jupiter being retrograde, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and we're having this bigger and bigger light around good luck and fortune and the energy of just going for it. So I think that spirit animal grasshopper is coming through with this full moon to say, wrap up the stuff. The Capricorn moon is telling you to wrap up the stuff that's standing in your way. Get excited, get joyful about your big, scary, exciting dreams, and just go for it. So Page of Wands, reminding us of our magic, reminding us of the past and the things that have brought us to where we are, asking us to reflect on Mercury retrograde, pay attention to details from our past, to embrace our youthful creativity, and also to remember that we are always free. We always have free will to change, and we always have the ability to make independent decisions for the better of ourselves. For the present, the Queen of Cups reminding us to be graceful, be a nurturer of yourself right now in this Cancer season, to navigate this Cancer season with a mother energy, to treat everyone like family, and to start to find more compassion and empathy and grace for one another. And if you need to do work, do it in your dreams or expect messages to come through, especially with this Neptune retrograde coming up. And then the Four of Cups reminding us that relationships need to change, or you just need to be done with them completely. It's time to really look at the way that you're relating to the world, relating to each other. And are you being ruled by your emotions? Are you being ruled by the desire for all of us to be one big, happy, global family? If you have any goals, Grasshopper Spirit says go for it. Don't worry about how to get there. If you just make the first hop, the first leap, the other steps will come along the way. The blades of grass are tall. It's hard to see above them. It's hard to know what's on the other side. But if we take that leap, we can see above the grass. We can see what's on the other side, and then we come back down again. And then we got to take another leap of faith, and oh, we can see it. We can see it just on the other side, but then we come back down again. Do you get it? This is the process of evolutionary growth. This is the path of the human. It's thundering outside right now. There's a lot of energy. So brothers and sisters, I just want to thank you for being here tonight with this virtual full moon circle. I hope that you feel a little bit more supported towards your goals and your dreams. I hope that you have more understanding about what's going on in the cosmos right now and maybe in your own life. And if anything comes up, feel free to put it in the comments. Feel free to put it in the questions. I will go back and respond to those later. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to release our guides and guardians and seal our moon circle. And then I'm going to take just maybe 5 minutes to talk about Conscious Creatress. If you're curious about that program, feel free to join me in this breath. Sit nice and tall. Find your posture. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. And we release the guides and the guardians of the ether, cosmic beings, planetary communities, angels, archangels, spirit guides, beings of light, other influences. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for helping us to believe in magic and trusting on the other side of things that we can't fully see and understand. We thank you, guides and guardians of the ether, for being here. And we release the guides and guardians of the north, the energy of earth and our ancestors. As we look back on our past and we find the wisdom, we ask that you continue to guide us along our path of evolutionary growth and light. We thank you for being here tonight, and we release the guides and guardians of the west and the element of water, thanking these guides and guardians for helping us to embrace change and transformation, embrace the fire of this full moon, to utilize it in whatever way we need to. We thank you for being here tonight. And we release the guides and guardians of the south and the energy of fire Just like the energy of the West with water, acknowledging that. But releasing this energy of fire, trusting in its ability to burn away what no longer serves. We thank you for being here tonight, guides and guardians of the South. And we release the guides and guardians of the East, trusting that the winds of change are among us. And that every dawn has a new day, a new beginning for us to be a new person, to be better, to grow and change. We thank you for being here. And with that, our full moon circle is sealed. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I am just going to take 5 minutes here to talk about my signature manifestation program, Conscious Creatress. This is something that I developed in the beginning of 2020, not knowing there was a pandemic, not knowing things would be crazy, but I felt the need to kind of consolidate all of the tools that I had used for self-healing, that I had used for positive money mindset, that I had used for manifestation, to help create a program that aligned with the phases of the moon and helped you to do your own shadow work in order to achieve your dreams. So it's shadow work, it's homework every day, it's a lot of meditations, it's a lot of journaling, but it works with the phases of the moon to help you understand your own flux and flow of energy, your own self-sabotaging behaviors. The work that you need to do will come up as you move along. And it's a really potent portal because it's 4 lunar cycles. So we talked about the 4 cups tonight. This 4 is a number of completion. And so I feel like going through 4 lunar cycles really gives you like a full cycle of completion in the work that you've done. And you'll have a lot of things come up with that. We work with the 4 energy centers of manifestation. This is your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, and your root chakra. So you'll be doing work with each of those each week of the lunar cycle. So you work through each of the 4 cycles, if that makes sense. And then you're also part of an online sisterhood, a group of sisters that are either doing the work now or have already done the work. And I'm part of that group as well, just facilitating, answering any questions. So you kind of have a private space that you can talk about your journey, talk about the work you're doing, or get your questions answered as you navigate the program. So I'm going to leave it at that. You can go and read all about it if you go to vinalene.com/consciouscreatress, or if you go to my website and click on my offerings, you'll find it there. There's a couple of different ways to sign up for this program. You can sign up with a monthly payment option. You can pay in full and save a little bit. There's also a premium enrollment option. If you want to work with me personally one-on-one each month, you're going to get a couple of private sessions with me and some other bonuses as well if that's something that you're interested in. So this is open right now through this lunar portal, and we will close July 9th with the next new moon. With the new moon in Cancer, we will close registration for this program. I will probably not open up again until the end of the year. So if this is something you've been wanting to do, I highly suggest you do it now. My pricing has gone up every single time I've released registration and opened it up. So right now my prices are at the lowest that they're going to be. I will be raising prices again at the end of the year. So please take advantage. If you want to do it now, do it now. Go for it. Grasshopper Spirit says, take a leap of faith. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can send me a message or send me an email. Or you can just go read about everything on my website. And I think I did pretty good. I think that was about 5 minutes. So with that, I am going to sign off, but I hope you all have a beautiful full moon. This is a super moon. It's super potent and powerful. You've got a lot of potential to manifest. Don't forget to set out all of your stuff to charge. Make some moon water, charge your crystals. If it's raining or you can't set stuff outside, just set it in the moonlight inside. That's perfectly fine. With these past eclipses, we haven't been able to charge our stuff like normal. So get things back to normal by charging with this moon. And I will see you again for our new moon circle virtually here on Facebook on the Vina Lene page. That's going to be July 9th. It's a Friday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We're going to talk all about Cancer energy, and I will see you then. Namaste.